We've finished our first section in good time, so we will be moving on now to the second section of this evening on civil liberties.
Well, I do prefer to speak to the mic. Okay, my name is M. Ravi. I'm a human rights lawyer. Now, as a very basic question I have to ask myself, and I think that I myself am so thoroughly discriminated despite the fact that I've been fighting the mother of all battles in other people's lives. Now, the problem that I face, and I would like to see how Mr. Goh Meng Singh responds to this, is that I have not bought a HDB flat till today. And the reason is, I am told that I am an Indian. It's not a joke. But it is the worst form of apartheid, reverse apartheid policy that my country and my people practice against me. The reason is this. Minorities, Malays and Indians are told you cannot live in certain places like Yishun or Eunos and all that. Naturally, minorities congregate, otherwise you won't have Chinatowns all over the world. So therefore, it is like saying to people in Chinatowns in Toronto to say that, oh, we must have 77% masale and then 15%. So therefore, Mr. Goh Meng Singh, what is your party's stand on removing this discriminatory apartheid policy? Because soon I'll be inviting India and Malaysia to intervene.
Thank you, Ravi. I think you have given me a simpler question I expect. Racial politics is not something to joke about, right? But race in Singapore is a political construct, right? We are Singaporeans, first, right? Now, if you ask me, your question actually links to the ethnic economy as well as ethnic culture. Because if you do not have a main congregation of your race, the Muslim coffee shop cannot survive, put it simply. I am fighting in Tampines. Tampines has 24% of Malays, right? The result of this congregation of the race actually leads to a booming of a Muslim Malays coffee shops. You can find the most number of Muslim Malay coffee shops in Tampines. Right? It is not just about your housing choice. It's about your ethnic economy. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I am prepared, right, to say that as long as there's no big distortion in the racial mix. For example, there's no more than 50% of Malay or Indians within a place. I can accept that, and in fact, it is much healthy for entrepreneurs to groom from the race ethnic group, the racial ethnic group. That is my view. Right? As long as it's not 50%, I think if it's more than 50%, statistically, it is a distortion. It becomes an outlier, which may not be good.
Sorry, Mr. Goh,
right?
I have been detained for 9 years, from the age of 28 until 37. I was deprived of getting married. I was about to get married. I was detained without trial for 9 years. And that has deprived me of the prime life of my life. One, I want to ask the panelists who are opposition members, in some other countries, if you are illegally detained, you can ask the government for compensation. What does the panel members think about it? There are hundreds and thousands of people like me who have been detained without trial for no crime whatsoever. My crime apparently has been, I fought for the better working conditions and more wages for naval-based workers, and later for the factory workers in the city. That has been my crime.
I'm an alumnus from the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, but I'm not a PAP member, so don't worry. Michael Fernandez is my good friend. If I'm not careful, I may go in 9 years or so. My question for Dr. Cheese is, I understand for a fact that you were on some US radio talk shows. Can I know how effective it has been so far, and would you recommend other opposition parties to go on these talk shows also? And then the other thing is, how do you convince Singaporeans that civil liberties are critical to our way of life? Because everybody, they have a good pay, they drive home, they watch a movie, and then, how do you convince them? Can I request that you hate an initiative where there's coherent planning? I see a lot of opposition parties and resources are tight. Everyone is doing something different. If there is coherent planning, like what the PAP is doing, there's coherent planning. Each one target on one area. Then I think the opposition will be very successful. Can I have some breakthrough tactics like WikiLeaks? You know how to apartheid? Because all you need is squeeze the blood from going to the brain and they faint. We need to have some breakthrough tactics. It's easier to talk than than do. But can I request for some breakthrough tactics?
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Alex. My question is about conscription. Many people of my generation has negative feeling about conscription, and they are very, internet savvy. This year, France has ended conscription, and Germany is contemplating on ending conscription. So my question to Mr. Chiang is does the party support conscription, and is there any plan to abolish conscription? Thank you.
To get to one of your first question about going on radio talk shows, if you are invited, if the people want to hear from you, do it. There's no necessity for you to go out on a limb and say, look, I want to do this, and so on and so forth. But if you are approached and you feel that you're up to it, by all means. I think the world should know more about the situation in Singapore and to be able to let the PAP propaganda have a bit of a competition. No, as far as getting together and making sure that we're more coordinated in what we do, our record stands very clear. If those of you who followed us on the internet, you would have seen that in the last few years we have taken the initiative to try to bring the various opposition parties together and just sit and talk. We don't have to plan anything, like what they did in Malaysia, but let's sit and talk and just build confidence, get to know each other first step, and then see where that leads us to. One of the questions had to do with
detention without trial.
That was from
Michael Fernandez.
Look, we are very unequivocal about it. ISA must go. I sat in Hamburg interviewing Jia Taipo for my book, and it was just the most gut-wrenching story I've ever heard. If you listen to what happened to Lim Chin Siong, and if you find out what had gone on with Lim Hock Siew. Yesterday I just had this chat with Vincent Cheng in the office. There is absolutely no justification for us to continue the Internal Security Act. All this nonsense about terrorism and so on, that can be dealt with in another statute, under another law. Right now what the government is trying to do is to use the terrorism bogey to continue its justification to detain folks without trial. So we've made our stand very clear. This is the principle, our bedrock of our party policy, and we stand by it. I think one of the tools that you talked about a little while ago, the WikiLeaks, it's already here. We do have it. It's called the internet. Right? we've never, and you know, charting our progress right through in the last 3 to 4 years, we've been able to use the internet to reach out to a lot of Singaporeans. Obviously, still not enough. But I think using the internet and to be able to tell them, to convince them, look, economic rights, political rights, two sides of the same coin. I'll give you one example. Years ago, Lee Hsien Loong came up and said, and I think you go back and do a search, you find it somewhere. He said, you know, you don't see 1 million people marching on Parliament Square, do you? That shows Singapore's confidence in this government. He said that. I'm not making it up. And then when there's just 20 people going to outside Parliament House, they come and arrest you. No, but this is the point I'm trying to make is this. Right? Public assembly is used by public to show their dissatisfaction with the government. Not just in Parliament. You look at what happened in Hong Kong. The introduction of GST. Just the introduction of the GST. 500,000 people descended on the streets in Hong Kong. The government had no choice to back up. But to back out. That's the power of public assembly. Thank you, Dr. Chief.
Now first, on conscription. Now you know who is Joseph Stalin. Somebody asking what are your priorities for Russia. You say number 1, defense. Number 2, culture. Number 3, economics. So I agree with him. No point in building a house full of gold and silver when you have no gas around the house. You must have protection for yourself. That is, not only human beings, but all animals, they fight like hell. So if you have got property, you have got riches, but you must guide them. I think there are many examples of nations which they have built a rich culture, accumulated gold, but there was no defense, and they are open to attacks from other countries. So I think Stalin was right, because he fought Hitler and won the day. If he did not defend and put it as his first priority, Russia would have been conquered by Hitler, and it would have been worse for the country. So I'm sorry, although how much you dislike national service, I think we have to play our part. Defense is very important. Do not make a mockery of national service. I think I agree with Dr. King. The ISA must go.